Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Palabas Tayo's special edition of After Party, your online chikahan with artists. Today is very special because we have with us someone who will talk about his current project, which is a video that he recently recorded, especially for the frontliners of COVID-19. Okay, so I worked with this guy some years back when we did Into the Woods together for the New Voice Company with Mencho Yulo, Michael Williams, among many others. He's currently based in the UK for the King and I. So based on those descriptions, I think you already know who I'm talking about, right? So without further ado, I'd like you guys to welcome Joaquin Pedro Valdes.
Hello, everybody. Hi, good evening. Evening na dyan.
Hi.
Gabi na dyan, diba?
Gabi na dito, it's now 6:33. What time is it there in the UK? Next.
It's almost lunchtime. It's almost noon here. So yeah.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for joining Palabas Tayo's after party.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a nice thing to do. It's nice to reconnect with everybody.
Okay, so well, kamustahan muna? How is everything over there? How are you and Aji?
We're okay. Me and the missus are fine. We're locked down just like the rest of the world. Waiting and praying that this blows over very soon, and also praying that not less lives are taken every day, and the numbers they can get overwhelming pag nakatutok lang sa news. So I kind of had to detach myself from the news for a bit, just get the facts for the day, and then kind of just go back into my routine because it gets overwhelming. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm just praying that all of this blows over very soon.
Yeah, how are both of you coping?
We are well. My wife is very busy. She's in the thick of her LLM. She's taking her master's in law, and what they did very early on is they transferred all of the modules online. So she's still very busy. She has a very specific schedule every single day. I'm trying to keep myself busy. I'm trying to get creative, doing a little bit of writing, lots of reading, lots of Netflixing. Yeah, and just connecting with people via Zoom and via FaceTime, because if there's anything that brought this, that any good that brought this that this pandemic brought to us, it's the need to really connect and do some FaceTime with people. I've never FaceTimed so much with my family with the pandemic. So yeah, so here we are.
Okay, but what's it like now for actors and for the performers?
Well, basically, we're all unemployed or fun employed, depending on how you look at it. We're all keeping our fingers crossed and bracing ourselves for what the industry will be like after this. It came as a shock because it happened very quickly. As you can see, just as the pandemic took over, so did the lockdown happen really quickly. And I think it was on day 2 or 3 of the quarantine in the UK that the Society of London Theatres and the UK Theatres, which is the body that kind of governs all of these tours and shows in London and around the UK, announced that they would be going dark. And this was just a couple of days after Broadway went dark. So we were in the middle of our tour. We were on the first week of our 6th to the last venue, which was Liverpool. And we got the news from our producers that we needed to shut down. At that point, we didn't know if we were closing or just postponing, or we didn't know how long this thing was going to happen. And then immediately the next day after the Prime Minister announced that they are discouraging people from going to public gatherings, we got the news from our producers that we are basically closing the show, because we only had 5 venues to go, which was around 10 weeks left. And yeah, we had to close the show. And along with our show and our tour, all the other tours and all the other shows around the UK and of course West End went dark. And it was really a shock. It really made us realize that nothing is permanent and how temporary things are.
Okay, so you are not as busy as us, as the lawyer in the house.
No.
In a way.
She's very busy, and it's good because she was telling me that it's a nice distraction because at least she's not just fiddling her fingers and just waiting for things to happen. Now she has something to do, and it's good that we go through a routine. And I realized that what helps me cope with the whole thing is to just have a basic routine every single day. Waking up, make the bed, make some coffee, do some reading, catch up on the news, ever so briefly. I don't wanna overread things, because you can go into a rabbit hole of just being really overwhelmed by information. And then cook some food, do a workout, just come up with a really basic routine every day, and then that helps my mental health as well. At least the
Right.
next day, I look forward to doing the same thing.
So where does the entertainment come in your schedule? Like your schedule for Netflix or
Yeah,
movies or
the end
your
of the day.
online stuff.
At the end of the day, once you've done your scheduled activity, which is working out, cooking, reading, studying, whatever, at the end of the day, when we're ready to, right before we sleep and retire for the day, we're doing mindless stuff, which is like watching a movie or
But
just,
movies are not very mindless. But I have to agree, some of the content that we see online are not so, good for the brain in a
yeah.
way, like intellectually speaking. But
Well,
right now, what is your favorite content?
I
Like,
love
yeah,
one is I love seeing how the theater community, especially the theater folk, are really making lemonade out of lemons. You know what I mean?
that's true.
They're really finding ways to be creative and to be connected. I love watching the IG lives of Natalie Weiss, who's a vocal teacher, and she's just,
Right.
I mean, it's so nice to see a very human and authentic version of all of these celebrities. And recently, I just found myself crying watching the Some Good News episode, wherein the original cast of Hamilton came together to perform the opening number.
Yes, I know that. I was just
Girl,
watching the
girl.
movie A Quiet Place, where he's one
Yeah,
of the leads, right? He wrote that and he
he wrote,
directed that.
directed it, yeah, John
But
Krasinski.
anyway, that one, yung Some Good News, that
Yeah.
is so
I love
awesome.
that.
Like,
I
yeah,
love that.
I get goosebumps just talking about it now because he
Yeah,
did this for this little girl.
he did it for a 9-year-old girl whose plans were really thwarted because of the COVID pandemic, and she couldn't go and watch her favorite show, which was Hamilton. And they did better. So Lin Manuel and the rest of the original cast, from their homes, did the opening number of Hamilton, and it was amazing. It was nice to see everybody like Jonathan Groff and Leslie Odom Jr., Philip
Yeah.
all in their home, Anthony Ramos. They're all in their homes and they're performing this number for her, and it was amazing. It was so nice.
Well, at one point, I was thinking if it was all staged, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I mean,
matter.
just putting all these people together, the stars of the show,
Good
it's
vibe.
amazing.
It's really, really good vibe.
Yeah. Also, it's amazing that this situation, the COVID-19 crisis, made us see things that we have never seen before.
All of a
Diba?
sudden we have access to so many good shows. Like
Exactly.
our favorite thing to do is to go to the National Theater and watch whatever whatever's in repertory at the National. But now, because we can't go to the National Theater, the National has streamed their shows, and it's going to be one really famous show every single week, starting last week. So this week it was One Man, Two Governors, which I absolutely love.
James Corden.
James Corden, and they're directed by Nick Heitner. And it was so good, really, really funny. And it streams for 1 week. And what they do, apart from streaming that show, they did like a little Zoom session with the creatives and the original cast, like doing a commentary on that show, because that show
Like a
was
talk back.
Yeah, was that? Sorry.
Like a talk back.
Yeah, like a talk back, because they just like a little reunion, because that show was done 9 years ago. And it's funny because if you watch that show, like the cover of the cover, or just the walk-on role, which is a policeman, was David Hunter, who's now the star. He plays Dr. Palmater on Waitress at the West End, and he was in that show, was literally just a like a walk-on guard, like a walk-on policeman. It's so nice to see the growth of these actors.
Mm.
And I would never have known that he was part of that show
Yeah,
unless
there's so much good stuff also online. Locally, there's kailan ba? Yung PETA, they did a recording of this song from Rock of Ages
oh, that's
in
amazing.
celebration of I think PETA's anniversary. I don't know how many years, maybe 25, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But they gathered all the cast of Rock of Ages
the
and they sang a song. It's really nice.
longest running show in the Philippines, like 1,000 shows or something.
What other stuff that have you seen? The ones that the
I've
Philippines have
seen,
produced?
I've seen the Umagang Kay Ganda. Lots of friends that sang on that video, which
Yeah.
is really, really nice and heartwarming. I also caught a glimpse of Leia's amazing 1.5 million
Oh my God.
concert
In 1 hour.
in
Can
one
you
hour.
believe that?
Raised 1.5 million. That was really good, and it's quite unfortunate because she was supposed to bring her concert over here to the UK sometime in the summer, and I was supposed to come see her and watch her, but then yeah,
Mm,
scheduled
that didn't happen.
yeah.
Oh well. Well, speaking of online content, there's this one thing that you did recently. I saw
Yeah.
it this afternoon in Noel Ferrer's
Yeah.
page.
So
Can you? Yeah.
Noel asked me to do a little song to dedicate to the frontliners and to the people who are still tirelessly working and risking their lives every day to save ours who are at home. And I was thinking about what song to sing, and this song came to mind because one is I love the show and I love the song. It's "Bring Him Home" from Les Miserables, and I realized how resonant it is now to people who are working on the front line, as well as to the families who are waiting for their sons and daughters and fathers and mothers and loved ones to come home, because we don't know how long this thing is going to last. And if we were living in wartime back in 1940, in the 1940s, in World War II, the doctors now and the nurses now would be equivalent to those soldiers that are fighting on the front line. And we don't know, the families who are waiting at home don't know when they're going to come back. And they're risking their lives every day. They're exposed to the virus. They're so close to these patients, and not only are they trying to save their bodies, the bodies of the people who are going through the sickness, they're also saving their morale and taking care of their mental health and their emotional health. And there is absolutely nothing, and I speak from experience, there's absolutely nothing like the comfort and warmth brought to you by a Filipino nurse or a Filipino doctor. Just the joking, the cajoling, the just lifting your spirits when you feel really, really sick. It makes a world of a difference. And
Yeah. There's just a special warmth that you feel when you're taken care of by a Filipino caregiver or a nurse.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
and these people are indeed risking their lives in this battleground, which is COVID-19. I
Yeah.
read about this guy who passed away in the UK. He was a nurse because I think he was not wearing a protective gear and he was working for 12 hours.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like,
Bad.
it's not even by choice. I mean, everybody, PPE, or the personal protective equipment, right now is like gold. And I think that's in the news you can see how all of these governments are trying to secure these PPEs, and in the millions, because in one day one person can go through how many PPEs already. So imagine all of the doctors and nurses, imagine all of the patients, imagine everybody who's just trying to get their hands on such a scarce item. And not just that, like, touring here in the UK for over 2 years, almost all the time, 100%, 90 to 100%, the Filipinos that come to the stage door to greet us or to plan their holidays around watching our shows are almost always in the healthcare industry. They're nurses, they're doctors, they're nurses and doctors in the ICUs. They're working in big hospitals. They're working for the NHS. Uh, they're all always, almost always, Filipinos that come to watch our shows, and it's just daunting to realize how many Filipinos are actually in the healthcare service outside of the Philippines. So not only are they risking their lives, they're also OFWs. So we call our OFWs mga bagong bayani, diba? So what
Right,
more the
right.
OFWs who are working in the healthcare industry right now, and they're so far away. If they know, if there's anyone that knows isolation and self and quarantining best, it's these OFWs in the healthcare industry who are so far removed from their loved ones back in the Philippines to give love to people, that they don't know every single day. And yeah,
Right. So this video cover that you did is really for them. It's like a tribute to these people.
yes, it's a tribute to the healthcare workers, but more importantly for the families that are waiting for them and praying for them every single day.
Right. I was watching the video actually when you sent it to me, and it's now posted on our YouTube channel, by the way,
Thank
so
you.
you can watch it.
Thank you.
But when I was watching it, I saw that you were kind of teary-eyed.
Yeah, I think you try to distract yourself from the bad news, and you try to remove yourself from getting really emotional or really like quote unquote negative, but you can't help it because the truth of the matter is people are dying every single day and people are risking their lives. And as much as I wish that I were a doctor right now, or I wish I were a nurse right now, I don't, and the only thing you can do, and it's not only the thing you really can do to help out right now is to stay at home. But it feels so counterintuitive because I like getting my hands dirty. I like getting involved. And right now, people are telling me that the best way to get involved is to stay at home. Because if you stay at home, you're saving the NHS. You're helping out these nurses and doctors who are risking their lives every day. And I just all of that and singing this song really brought it to life. And I got emotional just thinking about how I can't be there to take their place. So all I can do right now is to just pray and isolate and hope that this thing goes sooner than we realize, so that they can all come home now.
Yeah. So this song really took a new meaning for you, and for a lot of us actually.
Yeah.
But originally though, this song is by Valjean, right? Jean Valjean. It was a song for
Yeah.
Marius, right?
For Marius, during that little revolution that the students put up right in front of the ABC.
It was his father instinct, right? His
Yeah,
father.
because he had no idea. It's interesting because he had no idea who Marius was, but all he knew was that his daughter Cosette was absolutely in love with Marius.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do know that we all have our father figures, right? Like wherever we are. But in the theater, who was your father figure back?
Oh, so many. So many have really taught me, but probably one of the most prominent influences and mentors that I have right now is Direct Bobby Garcia, who has really there's this very special way of how he directs, and it's nice when you're in a room and you feel absolutely safe and you feel absolutely nurtured and taken care of as a professional, where you're allowed to really grow as a human and as an artist. And
Which shows did you do with Bobby?
Intensively, I did 2 runs of Kinky Boots.
Oh, that's right.
I was standby Charlie Price, but I was there in the process as well. And then I did Matilda with him. And then for Atlantis, I did Spring Awakening as well. Way back.
That was your first for them, right?
That was my very first for them. And then
Where you showed skin.
I showed a lot of skin. I showed a little, maybe too much.
We're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
Okay, there's so many. One is Bobby, but even
Bobby.
Before that, when you were still little.
Before Atlantis, when I was very young, it was trumpets. It was Audi Himora. It was Jaime Del Mundo that really discovered me essentially as a young artist, and then put me on the map essentially with Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe, with A Young King. But even before trumpets, my father figure would be Tita Bibot.
Oh, that's right, like most of us.
Yeah, because I think I would say Tita Bibot was the very first one that really discovered me. And I know how careful she is with her praise and how economic she is with her compliment. Doesn't give it a lot.
She's so matipid.
She's very, very matipid with them. And she wrote me a glowing review when I was
wow.
My very, very first show with them was Pinocchio. And I remember it because she had an opinion piece. She would have an opinion column.
She had a column. That's right. Is that Manila Bulletin, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't even remember what publication that was, but she had a regular column, and she dedicated one whole piece on me, and that was really, really like humbling and really, really affirming.
Let me humble you a little more. Hold on.
Oh no, what's happening? Oh no, Tito Audie, yeah. Father figures. Yeah, throughout so much of my career, Tito Audie.
Hi, Tito Audie. You want to say hello first?
Oh, this is the guy you're waiting for.
That's right.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Yeah. Hi.
There's a liquor
we have
ban,
a
but
drink there,
I've got some.
Liquor ban.
I've got a stock of. Yeah, there is. But this is grape juice. Okay.
I have my alcohol, my disinfectant.
Tito Audie,
How are you, Joaquin?
Yeah. I did so much and grew up so much in trumpets. From the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe to the Young King. Yeah, that's like family to me.
Tito Audie, do you want to? I know you've known Joaquin for so many years, and when he was still a baby, right? Can you talk a little bit about your relationship? As I don't know, father son, or as actors.
Ang daming anak ni Tito Audie.
Exactly. Ako yung kayo muna.
Joaquin was if there's a first son that trumpets ever had, it's Joaquin. Marami kaming naging anak, no? Ang daming naging sumunod after him. But Joaquin was I would say the firstborn. He came to trumpets, I think, when he was 12 years old. I know that he did something with rep. No? Tama, Joaquin?
I started in rep at 11, and I came to trumpets at 13. Yeah.
Yes, we were, I don't know kung nag-workshop ka muna or nauna muna yung line.
I did a workshop with Tito Audie. Yeah.
So timing because then we were just putting up the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and we needed an Edmond.
Yeah.
And the one who was originally cast for Edmond was Khalil Kaimo.
Yeah.
But Khalil Kaimo's voice dropped.
He became a man.
But Joaquin, just like, by the grace of God, came at the right time when we lost Khalil. There's Joaquin. And at 13, he still had his child voice.
Yeah.
And it was very powerful. He was a really good actor for a kid his age. So he was a shoo-in. In fact, wala siyang alternate. He was the only one who did, I think we had as many as 30 plus shows or 40 plus shows, and it was Joaquin throughout.
Yeah.
Ganun katindi yung boses niya noon.
Wow.
And I remember after the last show of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that's when my voice changed. It was like it was just waiting for that run to end. And then I had puberty.
Yeah.
I met puberty right after that run ended.
Perfect timing.
And there's
fortunately we have it recorded, and he's also on video, so we have it there forever.
Where is it?
I think I see some on YouTube.
Yeah, well, the album I think is I still have a copy of the album. That should be up on Spotify, Tito Audie. That's really good.
Tito Audie.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah, lagay sa Spotify, diba? Anyway, Tito Audie, do you have a story that not too many know about Joaquin?
I have one with Tito Audie, but I'll wait.
Oh, sige. Sino mauna?
Ako muna. Joaquin, hindi alam ng karamihan, Joaquin was like an old guy trapped in a little boy's body. I mean, when he got in, most kaedad masyado kasi kakumpisa pa lang ng play shop. So parang nag-iisa si Joaquin like a kid, the only kid amongst us adults. But he was like a little adult. He was hanging out with us, very opinionated, very advanced, parang very precocious. He was never isip bata. He was always older than what he really was, very mature for his age. And so I don't know. You're a special child.
I-
Very talented and very bright and way advanced for his age. Yun.
Actually, when I turned 30, that's when I felt my mind caught up with my body.
Yung 30 years old
Yeah.
lang.
Like,
Ay,
yeah,
sawa ka naman, wala pa.
now it makes sense. No, my story with Tito Odi was that way back when I was in trumpets in 1997 as Edmund, there was always nothing like performing with Tito Odi as Aslan, and almost all the time when we sang our duet, Deep Within, it was so it was always so transformative. It always felt like it was the first time we sang that song. It was nothing with like that connection that when we had singing that song. But my personal story was I was such a fan of Tito Odi when I first saw him in Carousel in Repertory Philippines. He played Billy, and yeah, he was almost like a theater god to me. And so when the chance came that I would be able to perform with him, it was like a dream come true. Yeah.
Well, he is a theater god.
Yeah.
In the
Amazing.
Philippines.
Thank you for that.
And father to so many theater talent right now. Yeah.
Tito Odi.
But you're the first son. You're the first son.
Next. May favorites ba? Parang Joseph the Dreamer.
Ala, my favorites ba?
Again, I didn't catch you.
I was asking kung
No,
meron kang favorites. Parang Joseph the Dreamer.
You never choose amongst your children who's your favorite. You don't. But you do remember the first. You do remember the first. Especially.
Favorite si Tito Odi, si Richard.
Yeah, he's right. He's actually right here listening.
He's with him every single day. Hello, Richard. Tito Odi. So,
Hi daw, Richard. Si Kuya Waki. Tito Amiel.
Can you talk about the journey of... Yeah, come say hello. Where is he?
Just wave.
Hey, Rich.
Waki, did you know that Richard is the class or was the classmate of my boy?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, with the classmates before.
Wow.
Yeah, si Tate. Well, anyway, Tito Odi, can you talk about the journey of Joaquin when, his journey as an actor and his journey as a man from the very first time you knew him up to now?
Well, like I said, Waki's always been advanced, as far as learning and talent's concerned. He learned hip hop very early on, ahead of everybody. He was part of a, nung lumaki siya, naging alanganin. He was not young enough to be a child star anymore and not old enough to be a matinee idol. So we had to create a boy band for him and another son, Jonard, and Gian Magdangal and Chino Alfonso. So they formed a boy band, and that got him into pop singing for a period. And then Waki, may sariling pag-iisip yun eh. So he was very, how would I say, progressive as far as that band was concerned, always introducing new sound. And then he was also the first to say, you know what, I'm going to try to go solo. So he left the group early. I think he was the first to leave. And then he launched into an amazing, what I thought would be his career as a film director. Most of you don't know that Waki enrolled in film at UP, created his student film, and that student film won an award abroad. It was a multi-awarded student film. Waki, you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, it was my thesis film called Bulong, starring Sid Lucero and Maita Ponce. And yeah, it won an award in China. It got screened in a couple of other countries as well. Yeah, so
yeah, and then soon after that, he even made a feature film, and so I was very certain by how he was developing as a filmmaker that was the track he was going to follow, and that he would stop acting. He was acting here and there, but it wasn't as steady as the directorial work that he was churning out.
Yeah.
And then he went into directing for commercials.
Yeah.
And again, put out a lot of really good stuff out there. So I was fairly sure. The problem with Wacky is that he's got so much talent that and outstanding in each one, in every season that he followed, that you were pretty sure that ito na yun. First actor siya, tapos magiging singer siya, tapos magiging director siya, and so I was very. In fact, Wacky was also one of the first people who understood the power of internet and digital platform. He was the first one to talk about it, and it helped a lot of our artists in stages, because Wacky was knew about this. Look at us now; we're all online, right? And he saw it way ahead. So as far as Wacky is concerned, wherever he gets his mind on, he excels in it. And I was very sure he was going to be a director. I totally forgot that deep down inside, he's an actor. So when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he announces that he was leaving
Right.
to pursue
You had to
acting,
drop all that.
yeah, I was like, I was surprised, but then I was not.
Yeah.
And maybe out of all the pursuits that he followed, maybe pursuing an acting career abroad is probably going to be the most challenging and the most uncertain. But that's what he's about. He goes for the challenge, and you know what? Based on everything he's achieved in the past, he's gonna get it. You're going to get it. So it's just a matter of time, Wax. You're gonna get it.
Tito Adi, did
Yeah.
you know about, because a couple of weeks back, Wacky posted something on Instagram, like he almost had something. You want to talk about that, Wacky?
I'm gonna tell Tito Odi after.
Oh
that-
wow!
Well, it was posted online.
Well, yeah. So, well, I'll tell him the show after, but I can't say the show in public.
Okay. But tell
Okay.
him the story.
After King and I, actually during King and I was offered a job already, which would have been my first West End show. I was gonna make my
Wow.
West End debut for the summer. It was gonna be a really high profile, big deal, great company, amazing creative, an amazing cast, and amazing show. And my heart got broken because they finally canceled it because of COVID.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It would have been my big West End debut, but I think that's how the cookie crumbles. And I chose. I could have chosen to be bitter and angry about it, but then I realized that from everything that you've said, my whole life up until now, God has really been in control. And when something didn't go my way, it was only because there was something better that I had no idea and I could not have imagined to happen. And so this is one of those things. When God closes the door, there's a window that's going to open. And I think
Yes.
it might not be with this particular show, which I thought was going to be, mind-blowingly big. Maybe something better is going to come along. And right now, all of my energy is focused on just being one with the world and just staying home and taking care of our healthcare workers and just praying that this thing ends as soon as possible.
Wacky, is it canceled or postponed?
It's canceled. It's officially canceled because it was going to be a summer run, but the producers have been really lovely and along with my agent saying that they're going to try and see if it has another life in London afterward. But yeah.
Is it just you, or there are other Filipinos there?
I think I was the only one as well.
Wow. Well, I
Yeah.
still hope
Wow.
it happens.
I hope so. It's an amazing show, and it was probably the hardest audition process in my life. It was the hardest. Like you know how we watch auditions in movies, wherein dance auditions, and there are like 200 people in the room, and they're
Wow.
all amazing. I
Mga chorus line ba to?
at one point during the break, I was messaging Aji. I'm like, why am I here in the UK? And go home in Manila. Like I was so out of my league, and I felt absolutely insecure and incapable And then next thing I know, I get offered the job. So I'm like,
Wow.
You got the role. You got the job. So
it's a roller coaster of emotions. But then, yeah, it was good affirmation that I think I'm where I need to be at this point.
bravo, bravo. Tito Adi,
Yes.
if
I'll
there's
tell you after.
if there was one song, if there's one song that you can sing about Waki or for Waki in his situation now, what song would it be? And can you sing a few lines from it?
I know exactly what song to sing to him. Pero may kodigo ko kasi hindi ko memoryado matagal na tong ano na to eh.
Sige.
Okay lang ba? Joaquin, this is for
Sure.
you.
Oh no,
Okay, here we go.
I know this song.
I hope I have this. I hope I have the right pitch. Okay, it goes like this. You can do anything you set out to do, as long as your heart is pure and true. No longer the fledgling, ang baba, no longer the fledgling that you were before. Have the path of light and soar like seeds beneath the snow. Narnia's sun has made you grow. So blossom with the spring. Let your new life overflow. That is the treasure you found through the door. A new beginning, all that and more. Whenever winter winds may blow, no matter where it is you go, call on me and I will be. Wherever you are, near or far, sun will shine forever in your heart. Keep the truth inside your mind and heart. Begin your task, and as you start, you'll make Narnia a better place by far. Not just Narnia, but anywhere you are.
Ah,
I love that show. I love that.
bravo! Oh my god.
That's
Could
amazing.
you
That's
say, Wax?
there. That's Aslan. Yeah. I've seen a couple of shows out here. I've seen a staging of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I've seen really nice, amazing production of Prince of Egypt. But I tell you what, there's really, really quite nothing like the heart and the soul that particular staging of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe has. And yeah, can't wait for you guys to stage it again.
It's giving me
No,
goosebumps right now. I'm so goosey. Thank you for singing that song, Tito Adi.
Ay, appropriate ang lyrics to Waki right now. Really appropriate.
Very.
Thank you. It's
Waki.
nice. Meron kaming maliit na trumpets thread because we did that video of All Good Gifts.
I saw that.
And- You know, whether we're having dinner in Tito Adi's house or online in the little Facebook thread, it's always so loud and rambunctious and rowdy and hilarious. It's really like coming home to all of your titos and titas, and it's nice. It's nice and very, very. It's like family. So
Well, let's hope that happens again very soon.
yes, please. Yeah, definitely.
So, Waki, what are your plans now as an actor and as a filmmaker?
Basically, this quarantine is giving me all of these creative juices. I'm currently going to be writing. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a musical. So let's see. I'm very inspired. I'm doing auditions as well, all via online, and that's what's nice about here. All of these auditions are through the digital platform now. I did a massive callback audition, which is good. So fingers crossed. And I'm living the actor's life right now. I'm just waiting for the opportunity to come or creating opportunity for myself. And it's nice to be connected. It's like the whole industry is bracing and holding each other's hands and bracing themselves for what's going to come. But what I do believe is after this is done, and it will be done because it's bound to end, we will have new ideas and new ways to express our art. And theater will be completely brand new again. People will come back to the theater with, anticipating completely new ideas and new shows, new concepts, and new ways of performing and telling stories. So I think that's where we're at.
That's great. So before we close, I would like to ask you to invite people to check out the video that you did. But
Okay.
before that, I'd like to invite people because on Sunday,
Oh yeah.
we will have Wacky will be hosting Palabas Tayo after party, and it's going to be with the cast of Anna in the Tropics, and that's at 10 p.m. on April 12th. It will be broadcast live on our Facebook page and YouTube channels. So that will be hosted by Wacky.
I'm very excited to chat with Joey and the rest of the cast of Anna in the Tropics. It's a gorgeous show, and I can't wait.
Yeah. Just a reminder, you can follow Palabas Tayo on our social media accounts. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's Palabas Tayo PH. And also on YouTube, you can check out our very fun content over there. Yeah. Okay, so Wacky, please invite people to watch your video.
This video is dedicated to everybody right now. In times of crisis, we can choose to bring out the worst of our own characters or the best. We can choose to live in fear and anger and panic, but also we can choose to love and be compassionate and to empathize. And this is dedicated to everyone who has loved ones on the front line, who are thinking about people in these uncertain times and whether or not they're going to be coming home. This is a prayer. And know that after all of this, we all will be together and we will be seeing each other and hugging each other and laughing together all together again. So stay strong, stay safe, and keep our loved ones on the front lines always in your prayers.
Where do we see this video?
You can catch it here on the YouTube channel of Palabas Tayo, and please share it too. If you have people that are working on the front lines, please share it. This is for them as well.
We'll do that. Well, okay. I want to say thank you to both of you, Wacky and Buddy. Thank you so much.
Love
I had
you,
fun talking to
Wacky.
both of you. Bye-bye.
Love to Aji.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Palabas tayo.